So today we're going to do something a bit more interesting than my normal videos. We are meeting the DNA family. Ooh, it's a party. So I'm actually editing the video now, and I'm realizing that the intro that I recorded for this video was actually taken before I interviewed anyone, when it was just kind of like up in the air. And I didn't realize how emotionally invested I was in the story, how much my family was in the story, and it just doesn't feel right for me to start a video off on such a high note, even though it feels, you know, like it is a beautiful ending, and that's why I want to share the story, but it is definitely an emotional roller coaster.
It was like this long, right, that I just thought, oh my God, I just lost my sister.
She could have been, God forbid, aborted.
And I'm glad that we've got the time to get to know you guys.
Yeah.
Because it's emotional.
This is Rebecca, that is your mom, that is me, and I've added PNINA in there because she's now part of our family. There's Jenny, Patty, and Krista.
It's so sweet.
And then 2018 is when we all met each other.
I love that.
When I turned 18, I was told that I was allowed to find my birth mom. So I called the state of Minnesota where I was born, and they said, I joke on you, it's 19 in this state. So I said, okay. By the time I hit 19...
So she was born in Minnesota.
Right. The adoption agency said, sure, you can write a non-identifying letter to your mother, but it will cost $900. And I didn't have $900. I was paying for my own college, my own car, everything. So I said, you know what, this is going to have to wait till I have money. And I asked them, I said, well, how are you going to find her? What if she's moved? Do you have her social security number to help find her? And they said, we have all of that, but we can't guarantee that she'll respond to the letter. So I could have lost the $900. So I said, you know what, I have to wait till I have $900 that I
So
don't mind
this was
losing.
when she was
19
years old and first tried to find.
Then I let it go for a while. Then I wanted to have my first child. So I called my adoption agency again at like 22, and I said, I really want to know, like, what is, like, my genetics, is there cancer, all that, because I want to start a family. So they said, oh, for $75 you can get non-identifying information. So
you did do that.
I did. So I paid the
I
$75, and they mailed me, your birth mom's hair is red, you know, everything like superficial.
She showed me, it was
Nothing,
a printed out paper saying like they're all like 5'9", blonde hair, red hair.
We're all
you know?
Scandinavian.
So
yeah. And that was it. Nothing that I thought was important. And then we let it go. And then I gave birth to Esther, who looked so much like me. It kind of healed a little bit.
Can you guys tell? Look how much I like you.
So I
Gabby,
felt better.
step in. Step in
then,
for frontal of all the
right?
daughters.
And then
And Dee Dee.
the show Long Lost Family came about. Not that I didn't think through the years and try, but Long Lost Family came about. And I wrote to the show, trying to get on the show. They never responded. So I wrote again. They never responded. So I did 23andMe and Ancestry in hopes, and it sat there for years. And 2 years ago, in January, I was sitting at the dining room table with Esther, in fact, and my email pops up from Ancestry, and it was sister, question mark, question mark, question mark. And of course, I went like into a panic. And so I emailed back.
Well, it was very creepy because she had been in Ancestry for years.
Years.
And then she randomly gets this message stating both of her parents' names and what they used to do at that time period when she was adopted. So it clearly was her.
Right. If you were to see like the beginning emails, it was like we were questioning if it was really happening, but you know, DNA doesn't lie, but we were still like, we laugh about it now.
I'll if you have that, I can attach them to the video.
I have them all.
We can screenshot that.
So
if I found them, I'll add them here.
Right. When she knew, when she was talking about what my parents did for a living, and my mother had a career change, and my sister and all that stuff, I was like, this is no joke. So We decided to talk that evening when she was done with work. And 3 weeks later, in February, the beginning of February, I flew to Minnesota to 0 degrees because I couldn't wait to meet them. And it was a beautiful experience. We bonded right away. They're super. We've blended both families together. They're here now out for my sisters.
Well, I plan on speaking with them too.
Yeah, we're here now out with my sisters, and we have just blended this beautiful family. We do family trips together. We do girls trips together, and it's been such a positive experience.
Okay, well, I was born at the tender age of 0. And I was alone. And a year later, I found one of my best friends in the world. And I was always led to believe that I chose her. Like, I thought that we went to a store and I picked her out like a
Coming to PetSmart.
Yes.
Just picked her.
So we knew from the beginning that she was adopted. I knew the story more or less, and as she got older and more curious about where she came from, we started looking into finding her family. I don't want to say her family because we are her family
DNA
also.
family.
But where she came from, she's always been interested in that. And I remember, actually, it's kind of interesting, when she got married and she was thinking about having babies, I think she was nervous that she wasn't going to be able to. I don't know why. And I remember saying to her, it's okay, worst case scenario, you can always adopt. And she said, I will never adopt. And I thought that was so odd because she had such a good life. Like, why would she not want to adopt, right? So what she said to me was so profound, and it hit me really hard. She said, I have no beginning. My life begins with my life. I have no ancestry, no history. And she said, I need to have a continuation. So she needed to have you. She needed to have Gabby's, someone
Like her
who
own
came from-
DNA.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would perpetuate, right? And I'm grateful for that because I enjoy you. But that made it like really important to me to help her find her family too. And we looked, and it was difficult. Everything was closed. The records were closed off. We knew that, what we translated in our heads from the stories that we'd heard, we thought that it was like a younger couple, maybe 15 and 16 years old. We knew they were like of Swedish descent, but we kept hitting roadblocks, and we were told that unless that family released the records, that we wouldn't be given access. So at some point, she just gave up. And she said, okay, I'm accepting that this is my life, this is who I am, I'm happy with what the cards I've been dealt. And at that point, she decided that she needed to create her own history. And I can't remember exactly, but I think that was after she had you. She wanted to know for you guys things like whether there was going to be a possibility of diabetes or heart disease or anything like that, because her whole life, every time we went to the medical doctor, she had to like check off, I don't know, she wanted you to know. So she started doing all kinds of crazy tests. She had like blood work drawn every 6 months, and every medical test known to man just to establish that history. And at some point, she ended up with, was it Ancestry or 23?
Ancestry.
Yeah. And she did it for the purpose of documenting or finding out like what possible medical history she had.
Yeah.
And like she found interesting things, but it was not like, I don't think she ever thought we're gonna find, the people that she came from. She certainly never thought she was gonna find siblings.
Yeah.
Like that was craziness to imagine that, because I think we assumed that these two people went their separate ways and that was it. So one day out of nowhere, she calls me, freaked out about an email. I got a crazy email. I'm afraid to open it. I'm like, okay, do we need to report it to the police? What's going on? Like, I don't understand.
How big of a deal is this?
Right, you're like, what's so scary? It's either like a clown on it. Like, what's scaring you about this email? And she says, it just says in the subject, it just says sister ? And it's from, I guess, the Ancestry, like the way that they allow them to talk. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I said,
The obvious.
Right.
Open it.
So she opened it, and it was from Jenny, and so she's like, I have to call you back. So she hung up on me, read it, and called me back. So I'm like, ah! Right? And I remember for like a brief flash of a second, like the pit of my stomach just dropping out, right? And I don't know why it was like this long, right? That I just thought, oh my God, I just lost my sister, and then it was gone. Right? And I was like, okay, it's finished. And then she called me, and again, it was like, there was a security in knowing that she needed me to help her get through what she was seeing, right? So I was like, okay, we're all right, we're good. And she started this dialogue, and she's like, PNINA, it's like dead on everything except for my birthday, or, you know, it was off by a day or something like that, or something. It was like one thing that was a little bit off. But everything else was spot on. And so they arranged a meeting, and your dad went, which was awesome because, you know, he does not travel.
Yeah.
So for him to do this, and to just like really embrace the whole idea, it's one of the things that I love about Mark. You know, the things that he would never do for himself, he will 100% throw himself into for ORLI. And she instills that in people, but he's just like a beautiful human being for that. So then she sends me these pictures, and they're having a good time in the snowmobiles, and blah, 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 blah. And she hits me with, I need you to meet them. And yeah, I know, I was like, oh, that is fantastic. So we did. And they're beautiful.
And you were open to it, like, no matter what at first?
I would have gone with her on that first trip, and I was prepared to.
Yeah.
But then she says, Mark's going to go with me. So I said, okay, I'll let her have that, you know, first moment. And it's been really amazing. You know, you never know. You don't know how people are going to respond. You don't know if you're invading on their privacy, if they've developed this whole life without you, and if you can tumble those blocks, right? But that's not what's happening. What's happening here is that these two families are intermingling and meshing, and, you know, the things that I love about ORLI, I see in them, right? And the things that, I guess just the fact that I grew up with her, I get along so well with them because it's like having 5 more ORLIs. It's really weird, actually. Like, we always joke that she was the center of the universe. Apparently, it's a big universe full of ORLIs. So, I don't know. I'm thrilled that everyone has embraced me, and that we have these two families that are like so easily merging, and that everyone would come out here. I mean, that's a lot of expense and like a crazy amount of scheduling and chaos in your life to come out for somebody's, you know, like someone you just barely met.
Well, the crazy thing to me is that they're not even coming here to see like anything with my mom, you know? They're coming here for your kid.
Right,
You
exactly.
know, and that just shows how much like that it's combined, you know,
Right.
is that they're coming for your kid.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's crazy. It's
Yeah,
not
to go for your wedding makes total sense, right? Oh my, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it was an instant love. I saw Marianne in the airport, and it was like we recognized. I've never seen a picture of her,
Yeah.
but we recognized each other instantly, you know. And it was just like hugs and tears immediately.
Eddie Lindahl, ORLI's sister. When I was a teenager, my mom told me that she had to give up a child for adoption. It was a girl. And then we did as best as we could to try to find her with contacting the hospital. And my grandma, who helped hide the pregnancy on my dad's side, she had passed away already before we started looking. So she knew most of the information. So then years went by, little tries here and there, nothing. And then at work, a coworker told me that she had given a child up for adoption, and she found her on Ancestry DNA. And so that night I went home and ordered the kit, hoping to find her. That's why I did it. I mean, it's interesting about genetics, about heritage.
Yeah.
My goal was to find my sister, and so I got an email at work, and I was so excited that I opened it. It said, your results are in. And so I clicked on it, and it said, immediate family, and it said, ORLI Goldstein. And I'm like, this has got to be her. But of course I didn't know then I had to go to a meeting like right then, so I couldn't like look into it.
Yeah.
So during the meeting, I had no idea what the meeting was about. So then when I got out of the meeting and I looked on it, clicked on it, and then I called my mom and asked her some questions. No, I didn't. I emailed ORLI first. What, sisters?
And then you asked?
Question mark. And then I said, well, it shows that, you know, we're related by DNA, and my mom gave a daughter up. So do you think you could be my sister? So then, of course, I don't know why, but we were very, like, reserved because you're scared.
Yeah.
So, but looking back, it's like our DNA connected us. Of course we're sisters.
Yeah.
So my, after that, then I asked my mom some questions, the birth date, and she had some other information about your grandma and grandpa's careers and stuff. And so I gave ORLI all that, and she's like, yep, that's right. So then we talked, and it was a month, 2 months later, she came with us. And we were so nervous, excited, but nervous. We're like, what, she doesn't like us?
It was so funny when she first figured it out and she got the message. I was with her.
Yeah.
And we were in Publix, and I was saying like, oh, we need more spinach. We were grocery shopping. We were grocery shopping. She's like, what, vodka? I was like, are you okay, Mom? She was a mess because she had tried previously looking for you guys too. So it's just like crazy that that website was the answer.
It was. And it's crazy because like she has 3 full sisters and 2 half sisters, and it's just, you know, crazy. I always told my grandma T, my dad's mom, I'm like, we should go on Montel. That was big back in the 90s. Like, we should go on Montel and try to find, you know, the daughter they gave away, and then find out if Patty's our sister. Because I always suspected it. But
It's so funny.
I know.
You're going to find more sisters now.
Maybe.
I'm Marianne. I was Terry's second born. I grew up thinking I was the firstborn.
She thought she was the firstborn.
Yeah. Up until I was in my early 20s, I found out about your mom. And then that kind of put a little spring in my step going, okay, I'm going to find her, I'm going to find her. I found out the day, the time, the hospital, but I did not get, and I kind of got unnamed, but found out it was the wrong name. But because I was not your mom or my mom, everything was sealed. So I could not get to it.
Yeah.
I can tell you where the information is located in St. Paul. But yeah, I just,
So you had like tried to find my
oh,
mom.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was on a mission because we wanted to know what did she look like.
Yeah.
Because me and Becky look similar. So you're like, okay, does she look like Jenny? Does she look like us? I mean, we just wanted to know. And we knew
Did
she
you
was
have like an imagination of what she would look like?
Yeah.
What was it?
kind of Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you look at baby pictures of your mom and Jenny,
Oh, it's so freaky.
very freaky.
I'll have to add those in here.
Yes, they're super freaky. But then when Jenny found out about the ancestry, and she went and got that, she's like, I don't want anything else for Christmas, but I want my ancestry. And as soon as she got that, oh yeah, that's all she
Her
got.
Christmas present was an ancestor.
Mm-hmm. And then she gave me access to it, which I still have on my phone, because I do the family tree, because I wanted to know about who the heck had twins in my family, because I have twins.
Yeah.
And go to find out it was on mom's side and stuff. And then it was, Jenny calls me up and she says, don't check my emails. I was like, how am I going to check your emails? And then we found out we found your mom.
Wow.
And I was like shaking, excited. I cried because I was like, all my hard work, and all Jenny had to do was take a swab in the nose and found her.
They should pay you guys to advertise.
Right.
Sponsor.
Right, yeah, no, and then 3 weeks later, your mom came up and visited.
Yeah.
And wow, it's been fun ever since.
It really has.
Yeah. And then we met you my birthday weekend.
Yes.
Weekend Gemma was born.
Aww.
Yeah. And now we just have an extended family.
Yeah.
And I love every minute of it.
We all do.
Yeah. I know it's kind of weird, but it's like, you know, it's like, okay, it's my niece, but it's not my niece, but it's my niece.
See, that's the thing is a lot of people ask me, and like I kind of like want to be like my cousins, you know,
Yeah.
like my aunt, and it's
Yeah.
just it's so hard to explain.
Yes.
That I was like, here's a link to the video.
Right, yeah, yep. Because I was like, well, there is this, and which entail that is what this is.
Oh, can you show this on too?
That is all of us sisters. This is Rebecca. That is your mom. That is me. And I've added PNINA in there because she's now part of our family. There's Jenny, Patty, and Krista.
It's so sweet.
And then 2018 is when we all met each other.
I love that.
And it just came from a simple DNA test. And
I
now
know.
we feel complete. It's awesome.
Esther, tell her about your DNA test. It came back 100%. Bad bitch. Remember that song?
You've already started drinking.
Oh no, trust me, I know that song. Oh, that's Lizzo?
Yep.
Trust me, I love that song.
I'm Rebecca. I am the youngest DNA sister. This was all a surprise to me. I didn't know that Jenny had done the ancestry until she had already connected with ORLI. I was apprehensive on meeting her and the entire family. Very apprehensive.
Which we all were.
I wasn't sure that it would turn out as good as it was going to be. I was the child that always had been comfortable with what I had, and new things sometimes make it hard. Now that I know the nieces and ORLI and Mark and now the extended family, I am slightly torn that I didn't get to watch everybody grow up. But I get to see the next adventure. My fear of the Envision was that she had this fabulous life growing up. Not that we didn't. We had the most freedom that most children have. Like, we didn't have the rules that the other kids. We got to be who we were and then live off our consequences. And I thought that maybe she was brought up like a princess and that she had everything she ever wanted. And it was exactly how we were brought up. There were struggles. There was animosity in some aspects. There was happiness, sadness, and was part of what we figured out, that we were that much alike. Even though we were raised by different parents, we're still raised the same.
So she was just telling me that her dad slipped one day and said it.
And said that he had a daughter that him and my mom had adopted out. And I was about 14. And at first we didn't believe him. But then the next day we had asked him about it. And he was like, yeah, but we don't talk about it. And I guess it was kind of a secret. Like, none of our family knew. My mom's stepmom that raised her she was just mean, I guess you could say. So she didn't have that bond with my mom or her sister Linda like she did with her other children. You know, some people can't accept stepchildren like parents' kids. You know, some people can. And it kind of got left alone for about 2 years. And then Marianne started asking about it. And then Marianne started talking to Jenny. And them two went on like this huge hunt to find out that the church that had the records no longer existed. So there were no records. There was nothing for us to go off of. And so we had talked to our dad about that, and he was like, well, there's nothing you can do. Now, I don't know if that was because he was a closed chapter or because he legitimately thought that there wasn't anything he could do. And then Marianne, throughout the years, had always said, well, let's try this and let's try this. And Jenny was like, well, let's try this. And I'm like, you know, okay, you're the baby, I'm the baby. Babies are spoiled, you know, so you have a different mindset of the older kids. And so I was happy the way that it was, and I didn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. I didn't want to work anybody up and then it be a bad experience, you know. My sisters and my mom have been like the center of everything for so long. I'm like, no, you know, let's, you know, if she wants to find us, she'll find us. That's kind of, but it was a closed adoption, so there was nothing you could do. And then, so all throughout the years till probably my 30s is when they started to bring it back up. And then one day Jenny was like, oh, guys, I did Ancestry. We're like, yeah. She's like, I got a hit. So none of us even knew that she had done it.
Wow.
Until it said a grandmother or a direct sibling. Well, we knew that a 40-something-year-old couldn't be our grandmother.
Yeah.
So then it ended up being a sibling. And so she talked with her first, and then I kept asking her all these questions, like, well, no, ask her, because I didn't want to. I wasn't ready to. And then I tried to figure out pictures and stuff, and so ORLI had sent pictures, and then I pulled up our pictures when we were little and putting side by sides, and I didn't look like her at all growing up. It was Jenny, and then it was Marianne, and there was one kind of right around 4 years old, so I was still like, you know. And then when I met her, I'm like, holy crap, I look like her now. Like, she went through all the stages.
I feel like you guys look the most
alike now, but not growing up at all. You know, Marianne's 6th grade picture with ORLI's senior picture is like twins.
Yeah.
But then Jenny's 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old pictures are twins with ORLI, you know, about however many years before or after her. But so, like, there was still that confusion. I guess it was just confusion. I didn't know how to comprehend.
Ella, and I'm ORLI's adoptive mother. And her mom. And she has brought a lot of joy into my life. She's a very special human being with a lot of amazing qualities. She's a great mom, and I always tell her that. And I always wanted to know where she came from. I always wanted to know what she inherited from whom, because it had to be somebody very special. And luckily we found the origin of my baby, and the family turns out to be an amazing bunch of people, very loving, very open, and I just wanted them to know that I love them all, and that they didn't just find a daughter or a sister, they found the whole family, and that we welcome them to every one of our holidays, of parties, and whatever we have, because they are part of our family, and I love them.
And how did you feel when Mom first told you that she did find the family?
I was excited because I've been after her for years to find out. Years ago, she did contact the adoption agency, and they told her that they needed her to write a letter so they could contact her mom and see if she was willing, because sometimes you don't know what's on the other side. And for some reason, it just didn't. They told her that and she forgot and didn't write the letter. But thank God Mark did the DNA thing, and Jenny did her side of it, and because it was in the cards, it was destiny. And I'm very happy, because if I hadn't been adopted, I would have died to know where I came from, who my parents are, and why did they put me up in adoption. I know it had to be for love, because she could have been, God forbid, aborted, and she wasn't, so that means she was loved.
Hey, Mama. Yeah. When Jenny told me she did the DNA, I knew that. if someone was out there, they were going to come, they would get together. And when Jenny told me she did DNA, it wasn't that long after when your mom found us. It was inevitable. I knew it was going to happen. The girls did not know until they were older that they had another sister. If you knew my life growing up, your mom has a better life now. She would not have two sisters. She has two half sisters, which one of them, if I would have known, she would not have any real sisters because her dad is the father of 18 days difference, something like that. No one in my family knew. They didn't find out until the girls were in their teens. I was 20. I did not have a place to live. I was just living in people's houses. I was brought up by a stepmother. Who was, if you think of Cinderella, the stepmother. I had a wicked stepmother and two stepbrothers and a half brother. I have one real sister. We were close when we were little. We are not close. We don't need to talk. She lives in Florida. Not far from me. It's wonderful. She lives in Ocala, in the villages. And I do see her when she comes up to family functions, but it's so my stepmother or my real mother died when I was 2 years old. My dad remarried, left when I was 6, left us with his stepmother, and she brought us up, scared to death of her. I kept running her type thing. And it made me, when I got pregnant and living, her real name, I'm going to be fair, it's not ORLI.
What is it?
Amy Lynn.
Amy Lynn. So cute.
And I was scared to death to tell my mom that I was pregnant. So everything was a lie. Her dad did not want his parents to know that I was pregnant with his child. So he made a secret. They knew, and they had a public traffic to move. That when I wore baggy clothes. None of my friends could tell I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I wore baggy clothes, and then when it got to be the end of June, I went up to Duluth, and the excuse was I was going to go with his cousin for a camp, be a camp counselor. So I stayed up there for the month. The birth was arranged by his aunt, which was a nurse. So she had all the instructions given. I did not hear her cry. I did not see her because they figured if I did, that I would not be home. All the arrangements were made. I'm not sure if his parents went to the hospital to see her. I do know that the aunt did. The aunt knows. And after she was born, it wasn't that long that we waited to get married because we thought we could get her back. But that didn't work out. So when we found the DNA, and Jenny says, I think I found her. It was a lot of emotional feelings. Scared and how she was going to react. I knew the girls would accept her no matter what, because that's how they are. But it was an emotional time. And, I'm glad they connected. You know, I went. It's surprisingly because I lived in St. Petersburg for 18 years.
Wow.
You know, and that's only 4 hours from you guys.
Yeah.
And to have or we come back up here to find her, to find out she's in Miami. I have stepchildren in West Palm Beach. We were down there all the time. We were in Miami.
It's crazy.
It is. But to me, everything happens at the time it's supposed to happen. I'm not really a weekly church goer, but I believe that you're put here for a purpose, and things happen when they happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't think she was ready to find us until she was an adult.
Yeah.
You know, I truly believe that. If we would have met when she was younger, I don't think we'd have the relationship we have.
Yeah. I mean, it's really great though, because what I was saying to Jenny when she was talking is like, we never wanted, like my mom's, adopted family to ever feel like we wanted more, and it's just great because I feel like the families have really merged, PNINA comes to see
PNINA
you.
just falls right in with us.
Yeah, like she comes to see you more than we do, so.
They get along so good with and PNINA's kids, they're just welcoming,
Yeah.
They don't even ask questions, they just open their arms. The family, meeting your grandpa for the first time yesterday.
It's crazy.
For me, and for him, it was emotional.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, she wouldn't have the life she has if I would have kept her. I couldn't support her the way she did. Yeah. You guys wouldn't have the gap because she would have never met him.
Yeah. Everything happens,
For a reason.
It really does.
And there's a timeline. And it's not going to happen before, just like, you're afraid to fly. Okay?
Yes.
And the biggest thing with people afraid to fly is, what if airplane accident?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's your time, it doesn't matter if you're walking across the street, driving down the street, or in an airplane.
Yeah.
Your time is your time. And I'm glad that we've got the time to get to know you guys.
Yeah.
Because it's emotional, but every time I meet more and more of your family, it's more emotional.
Now you see where all the craziness is from.
But I can see so much similarities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you do or not.
Oh, yeah. Just when I was talking to Jenny and I was, telling her about like my flight anxiety, I'm like, I had to cry before getting on. She's like, I understand. And for years, I was blaming my dad's side of the family.
But see, now me, I'd rather fly because it's much quicker. Because when I was down in Florida, my late husband, he'd rather drive. He was a trucker.
Yeah.
I'd rather fly.
Yeah.
When the twins were born, I flew up here for their birth. He drove.
I'll be in the car with him.
And it's just, he tried to help me find her when we were down in Florida because he had a daughter he never knew he had.
Yeah.
That found him.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were trying to help me. But we kept hitting dead ends.
Yeah.
And I just, it's not the right time.
It's at a certain point where you keep hitting dead ends and it's like taking hint. The time will come,
Yeah, it does. It does. And when she turned 18, that was a bad day for me because I knew at any time after 18 she could find me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, there was no avenues to go. And then to find out that they did all the avenues, they did all the search.
Yeah, she did try looking for you.
Yeah. And I just hope that it just ends up, one big happy family. Yeah, and so far it is. It's just amazing how welcoming and open the whole family is to us.
Yeah, how close we've all gotten in a short span of time. I mean, it happened with like a year and a half ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy.
And I know with Mark's dad, or his mom, when I was down and we went to the engagement party, they're so thankful.
Yeah.
And Gabriel.
Yeah.
which is kind of different. You don't usually hear about that.
We're all super grateful. You know, it's like the best of both worlds because, you know, you've given her a chance to have a great life, but you're in her life now, and you're going to be in her life for the rest of her life, you know?
Right.
Everybody is.
And now, too, she, you know, I think if it would have been like when she was 18, I don't think emotional. If she would have found me then, she would have been ready.
Right.
But now, she's older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm older.
I feel like if she would have found you at 18, she would have had an identity crisis, you know, and now when she found you, she was married, she had her kids, so she knew who she was. So it wasn't like, who am I, where should I go, you know, it was definitely a great time.
You know, and she told me she does her yearly medicals because she didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that can kind of give her a little peace of mind on that.
I love that.
You know,
that's what I was so worried about. She found them, and I'm like, Mom, ask them about mental health. That was my first thing.
On my dad's side,
Uh-huh.
they were all alcoholics, and they all died of drinking.
Boy.
You know? But we didn't associate. Once my dad took off, we weren't allowed to even see that side of the family.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you know, I went from this small little home, you know, family to bigger,
huge,
which is good, which is really good.
Yeah.
Huge. There's not much I can teach her. She already knows everything. Except to crochet. She did say she wanted to crochet.
Yeah, teach her crochet.
I love crochet. That's
yeah.
What else?
Also, Gabby does too.
Wait, that's a nice baby blanket. Or, I mean, Dee Dee.
That's so
Give
cute.
it to Mom. So cute. To give it to her when she's ready for it. Yep. But, and that's even with PNINA. All her kids will get Afghans to give to. I said, well, there's not you. It's up to you guys. I make all the grandkids, great grandkids, their first Afghan. And so sweet. And they can pass it on down.
It's just crazy because growing up, like, I never would have thought in my life that all of you guys would be able to come to my wedding and, you know, be there. So I feel like it's such good timing. You know, you're able to be here for Benji, for me, you know, so it's
I'm
like.
just glad you're inviting us. I know, but if you look at other families, it's kind of like it could have gone two ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it went, for me, the positive way.
Me too.
And not the, okay, I got what I wanted, I don't want to have nothing to do with you.
Right.
That's what I was afraid of. That she wouldn't want anything to do with us or let you guys have anything to do with us. And it's not the case.
Yeah. I remember Jenny messaged me on Facebook and she was like, whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here. And like that for me was like really great because I was like, they're not going to force it on me.
No.
You know?
That's one thing that, you know, I would never do is I'm not going to put myself somewhere where I know I'm not ready to be or accepted.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but your family is so welcoming.
well, we're super happy to have a big family. You could never have enough love in your life.
That's what Mark said the first time.
Really?
Yep.
I've never heard him say that.
When he said that the first time, it was the very first meeting. He was going to do something, and I said, no, you're not paying for it. He goes, I have money, we don't have family. No, it was like, I'm going to do it because you're a family.
Yeah.
I think it was just pizzas. You know?
He's very like that though.
He doesn't need a lot of stuff.
I know.
You know? And it's kind of nice being different. I mean, I knew that she was placed in a suburb of Minneapolis. I didn't know that they moved to Miami, but I knew, I mean, before I met her or you know, your grandparents, I told you, I knew that the adoptive mom was an interior designer. I knew how tall she was. I knew what color hair she had. I knew,
Yeah.
you know, I had all that information, not as detailed on a detailed form like your mom does.
Yeah.
But I had it all from them.
Yeah.
But it was emotional. It was a good thing.
Worth
But
it.
Yeah,
Worth
very
it.
much worth it.
Yeah.
You know, and I just hope that you keep us
Of course. We're so happy to have you guys in our family, and you know, obviously it's difficult in different states and everything, but we're generally so happy to have a bigger family now.
I am too, and I think that we can all learn from each other. You guys are probably the smartest of all the grandkids, to be honest.
No, we're just older. We're just older.
You're more determined, like she is. None of the other ones have gone to college.
I think it's just what I was saying before is like, you know, like the whole like nature and nurture thing. Like if I ever went to my dad and was like, I'm not going to college, he'd be like, then out of the house.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that it's just different. Like
I have to say though, because the twins, for instance, were not planning on college until Mark talked to them.
So it's my
And
dad's
now all of a
thing.
sudden they want to go to college.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if it's influence or if he makes sense to them, or we said the same thing and it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's where it's coming from. And by you guys talking to him at school, he'll be more. Of course, you had a principal for a mother.
Noted.
And, but yeah, it was just a lot of. It was scary at first because I didn't know how she was going to react.
Yeah.
But it was good. Yeah. I'm glad it happened. And I'm glad it happened at the time.
Me too.
Everybody basically has their own life and they can make their own decisions.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not you or Gabby want to partake. It's up to you. And I'm glad you accepted it.
Thank you for talking about it. I know that it's extremely hard, and like, that's why I don't want to like bombard anybody
I
about
understand.
talking about it. But
But now we're leaving tomorrow, so you had to do it today. I didn't know you were doing it though, so it's okay.
it wasn't really like a decision, and then I kind of thought about it, and my mom wants to like write a book about it, and it's really an incredible story. It
It
really
is.
And
It is.
I was like, it's such a waste to not share this story, you know? Like, it's so beautiful. Like, this is something you would see in like a movie or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is really, it's a blessing
It is.
that we all got together.
Yeah.
Because I could have gone to my grave without knowing where she was. I thought she did that. And she is so much like me when I was that age.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, when we first met her, that mini you.
That's so cute.
She has a lot of my qualities. I can see it, especially when they're out partying.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time we met you, like, we can see it. Like, we saw it. We were, like, just not even, like, looks-wise. Like, totally out of the picture, personality traits. And I think that's why we all get along so well. Because we all have, like, the same personality. You know, I'm sitting here talking about anxiety, and they're like, me too, you know? So,
See, I'm like your mom. I'd rather fly and get there quick.
But
than
that's
drive.
how she is, you know? So it's like, it's crazy because we're such a mix of different people, but like we all have the genetics,
Yeah.
so we're all the same.
She's got. I am 100% Swede, and she's got in the DNA. She has more than the other ones.
Yeah.
But she traced the bloodline back further than Marianne got. Marianne was very much the family tree. She did a lot of the research on it, and that's what we got.
So happy I did.
And your mom got back further, and can't. Your mom is actually from royalty. It's a real thing.
Well, the thing is, like, I was saying that I wanted to hear, you know, you must have an idea, imagination of, like, what the other person is like. So me and my mom would always make jokes saying, we're European royalty, you know, and, like, we would just, you know, we would make those jokes about it, being like, yeah, we're supposed to be queens, and, you know.
And to find out.
And we're like, we're not that far off.
No, not really, you know. So, yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
But scary at first, but I'm glad I did.
Scary, but worth it.
Oh, definitely.